Is Brennan trying to bring the president down, and was the president right to revoke his security clearance? Should others lose theirs as well? Let me ask former special assistant to President Trump and former press secretary for Vice President Pence. Marc Lotter is back. Welcome back.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
So let's discuss this a little bit. I mean, I'm one of those people, I feel like there are way too many people who get an inside look at all of these secrets. And of course, with that comes a great deal of power. The problem is, if you're only selectively cherry picking clearances to revoke, it does look like you're punishing your enemies. Why isn't there a longer list that doesn't necessarily include those who've been so vocally opposed to the president?
And I think that may be something that comes in the future. I think what you're seeing right now is the action taken today by the president shows that Director Brennan is not, he doesn't hold the trust of the United States government any longer to hold our nation's secrets. Let's remember, this is a man who lied to Congress about the CIA getting into the computer files of congressional staffers. He misled Congress on a number of other issues and we can go down a laundry list of them, and he doesn't need the clearance any longer.
Yes, and Dianne Feinstein, who's not necessarily known as a civil libertarian, accused the CIA of spying on her and gaining access to her computer as well as other devices, and Brennan had to come clean and say, yeah, pretty much, and apologize to her. But that's how his CIA was operating. It's really no surprise. But should George Tenet and James Woolsey still have security clearance?
Well, and I think that we do need to take a look at that. I'll tell you, I had security clearance when I worked in the White House, and when I left the White House, that clearance ended because I didn't need it any longer. And we have to remember that a security clearance is not a right. This is a professional courtesy, and it's used primarily so the successors can talk to their predecessors on areas where there might be some overlap. We're now nearly 2 years into the Trump administration, and I can guarantee you that there is nobody at the highest levels of the CIA that want to talk to John Brennan right now about anything that would be confidential.
Mark Warner has been incredibly critical of the president for this. And, you know, I do think the White House has to be careful, A, not to appear vindictive, and also not just wagging the dog trying to get Omarosa off the front page because she has been eclipsing the news cycle for 3 days now. Where do we go from here with this conversation to make sure that it is a rational one, grounded in good decisions and constitutional stewardship?
Well, maybe we need to look at, as opposed to automatically extending the courtesy, that we automatically revoke the clearances unless the agency can make a strong case for why it should be continued, and it needs to be beyond just a professional courtesy. When you look at the rest of the list that the president announced today is under review, we have people who were at the top levels of the FBI who have now been disgraced, in many cases fired, demoted for their inappropriate activities using the power of the police, the power of the state to spy on political campaigns. They should not have clearance. And so maybe we need to look into this fundamentally in a long-term thing, and I think this is just the beginning of it.
Yeah, and I think both sides are looking at opposition research now as a form of domestic spying. They really are. And again, that's an incredible amount of information that also equates to an incredible amount of power. Now, those who are pushing back, like James Clapper, again, a known liar, someone who's gone before Congress and essentially perjured himself, they're saying that this is a First Amendment issue. I don't have a problem with former heads of various intelligence agencies or members of past administrations talking critically about this president or any other. I understand that. You know, we're in a hyper-politicized age where everyone has an opinion and everyone feels entitled to express it on TV or on social media. I get that. But, you know, if Brennan is talking about presidential comportment, there has to be something equally said for the comportment of a former CIA director.
No, I agree with you completely, and we need to remember that that clearance, by its continuation, says that you have the full faith and trust of the United States government in holding and having our national secrets. By revoking that clearance, nothing will stop him from going on other cable networks and continuing to rant and rail against this administration or any other administration. He's already prohibited from talking about classified information, and that will continue whether he has his clearance or not. All all this does is say you cannot have access to current and new information, and that's where we are going to stop that flow. If there is any flow, it would now be illegal to talk to him about national security issues.
Well, people like John Brennan feel like they know better than everyone else, and they are smarter than the average voter. Marc Lotter, thanks so much.
Thank you.